The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Enough is enough. Africans, we are saying enough of the dependency on other people. This is what we have been calling our leaders to stop doing. According to the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, message in Senegal, that Africa needs to stop depending heavily on the rest of the world, that we have everything. What is it that we lack? All that we need to be self-sufficient, we have them. So we need to stop being beggars. And this is going to the president of Senegal when he came into office, took over everything, kicked out French troops, and were so excited only for him to go back some few days ago to France, giving back the country to France as if without France, Senegal can never survive. That we need to take our sovereignty into our own hands, our dignity. The African need to be food sovereign, like Captain Ibrahim Traore, Simigweta Abdurrahmani Chena, our two generals are talking about every blessed day. He who feeds the African controls the African. And we need to take control over everything. That is the same thing President Kagame is talking about. According to him, we have had summits upon summits, meetings upon meetings, speech upon speech, yet we always do the talking. That we have to move away from the talking side into action. That the point at which the African is at the level of action. That is where we are lacking.
And stop being what should I don't want to exaggerate, but stop being beggars and depending on the others. We can't keep depending on the rest of the world. When we have everything, when our people know what to do, when there is really nothing lacking. And this covers the very topic we are discussing. Let me say, a couple of speakers earlier talked about dignity being part of what is reflected in what we aspire to do. If we can feed ourselves, if we can do the right things to grow, to develop our countries, I think it very much centers on what we can do as Africans to dignify ourselves. And also this is linked with what is entailed in your question. How do we approach things so that everything doesn't remain at the talking level? Because we have conferences, we have forums, everywhere, we are saying the right things, we are doing, but in the end, what is it that we can measure that we should be able to show has come out of the different efforts people carry out in different places? I think this is where we are still falling short and must work harder to achieve. If we are talking about food systems and food security and so on and so forth, but we continue and having so much arable land and all other resources, water and even technology to serve us where there is lack of or scarcity of certain things. Why don't we do what we know we have to do, or what we have so much said about what we have to do, to make sure that we are able to get results we can measure and know that we have come from here and this is where we are, and it is a reflection of the efforts that people have put into it, based on the need, based on the knowledge, and based on the kinds of partnerships that we talk about every day. If there are resources lacking, we have also seen that through partnerships, some of the resources can be obtained. So we really have to start walking the talk and just move from talking to doing, and then being able to see the results and measure them. And this is a responsibility for all of us. It's first of all primarily governments, of course. That's why governments are there. But it is also every one of us, now including the young people, who rightly make so many demands, but you must make effort to contribute and match the level of demands you are making as well.
Yes.
So I think if we work together, and we already know what to do, I have no doubt that people know what to do, because the needs we have inform us of what we can do to actually be able to meet the needs requirements. So my appeal to everyone is to take our responsibilities seriously and play our part. And then in the end, once you have done that, you are empowered to even hold others accountable. But you can't hold people accountable when you are not playing your part. So I'm happy that we are here in the company of the young people, and most especially women. Women, by the way, for example, in my country, constitute the biggest percentage of our population. So women are 52%, 51. Men are 49%. So women are very important. Even beyond just that aspect. And then when it comes to young people, we have 75% of our population being 35 and below. 75%. So if you have these 75% who are not really also playing their part and just making demands, there is a problem.
Yes.
In the end, leaders may be crucified for the sins they have not committed. So can we have people take their responsibilities? Can we have a very strong partnership?
Yes.
And then holding each other accountable in the process to do the very things everyone has said here or understands that we need to do to raise ourselves from where we are. I'm talking about Rwanda, I'm talking about the continent of Africa. Let me start with a short story. About 10 years ago or more, whenever I would have an opportunity addressing our young people in Rwanda, I used to tell them, and people thought it was a joke, but in the end it turned out to be a reality. I used to tell our people that I see young people, whenever there are problems in the country, they want to run away and go abroad. They go to Europe, they go to Canada, they go to America, wherever. And I used to say, first of all, there will always be problems in any country, and there are more problems probably in our continent than others. But I used to tell them, instead of running away and going abroad and leaving your country, let's work together and find a way to resolve our problems, because there are problems everywhere. But at the same time, I used to tell them, I said, in fact, I can predict that in a short time, there will be, where you are going, they will be chasing you back to where you came from. That's about nearly 15 years ago. Now, I think I have been vindicated. So I'm saying this to remind us that there are problems everywhere. In Africa, in Rwanda, there are problems. There's no question about it. We need to address those problems. But we would rather concentrate on dealing with our problems than running away from them. So the young people, my simple message to you is, let's not run away from problems. Because even where you run to, you will find problems. And maybe more problems. And especially when they send you back where you came from. So, but alongside that, young people find a purpose, know there are going to be problems, try and fail, but don't fail to try. I thank you.
When it comes to the talking, we know the right thing to be done. We always say all these things in speech, but we are not putting these things into practice. And this is where we need to move away from. That is what Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are doing differently from the rest of the African leaders. They will not sit down to give you speech before we see the things are done. These are leaders in the democratic elected always talk. AU summit, SADC summit, ECOWAS summit. Every day there is meetings upon meetings. That's the African leaders who always go to speak as to what to do, yet we don't act, yet we don't do. We must move away from the speech. Speech doesn't change narrative. Action is what we need in order to change the situation in Africa. How do we have all these things in the continent, yet we'll still be begging from one place to the other? Parading ourselves every blessed day, wherever we go, the first thing they see in the African is they are coming to beg again. Beggars are here. This is the narrative they create to the world. They give us peanuts and come into the continent and carry the resources away. We have to start fighting to make sure that we do things right. We are the only ones that can change the narrative in Africa. The speech wouldn't change anything. If speech would have changed the things here, by now Africa would have become a better place, because nobody speaks than the African leader. We always know what is right, but we act less. We don't practice what we say. So it is good that their own kind is telling them what to do. Stop talking. Stop begging. Stop allowing people to sit in their countries and summon you, and you only go there. They claim they are giving you loans. Loans for what? Is these loans that are keeping the African poor? We should be the ones that will be giving loans to these people and not the other way around. We know these peanuts that they give to us as loans are for us to give our trillions of resources to these people. But we jubilate over these peanuts that these people will use in exchange for the resources. We can sell what we have to get what we want. We have to stop allowing people to come here to be treating us anyhow, taking the resources away, leaving us poor, all in the name of their helping us. We have to stop projecting ourselves that way to the world. We have all that it takes to make ourselves better. because these people are depending on us, and that is why they are fighting us, making sure we don't unite and we don't take control over the resources. So why should that be projected of the African as a beggar, broad daylight, and the people who are actually begging Africans will now come in the dark to be taking the resources and taking the credits? The narrative must change, and this is the time. Enough of the talking, like he's saying. We need to implement what we always preach. That is the only way we can have a change in the continent. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Senegal.